ABC, which in my opinion has taken a big hit because these two people were bad news. They kept screaming at me. I said, why are you screaming? I'm saying to myself, I'm looking at him. I always liked him. I'm not going to watch him anymore. I'm not going to watch him because he's not legit. What he did, I'm not going to watch him. And his hair's not as good as it used to be, you know?
Pretty amazing stuff. Yes, sir. Listen, there's a lot to talk about here because there are things going around. There's this thing going on, and it's I'm be the first one to say it really doesn't matter until a whistleblower comes forward. But there is this story flying around about a whistleblower that will allegedly come forward from inside ABC News. And we were laughing about this last night on the Right Squad, on the Newsmax program, at least on the set. I'm not sure if we talked about it on the air or not. It's hard to say because, when you're not on the air, you're sitting at a table with five people. It's kind of like being on the air, sitting at a table with five people. But the idea that you're an employee of ABC News, and if you want to tell the truth, you have to do it in secret and be a whistleblower. But you're a news organization. Isn't everything supposed to be out in the open? Honestly, like Jeffrey Toobin, he's everything out. Speaking of everything out in the open, but never mind that. The news media, they're going crazy about this, and they have, for example, at Newsweek magazine. Newsweek used to be a news magazine, and come out weekly. Hence, Newsweek. But now, in the age of the internet, every couple of minutes, something comes out online. But their headline is, MAGA pushes claim of ABC whistleblower. You know how many headlines begin that way? With the, I was just talking about Don Lemon making faces over the Melania Trump video where she's talking about her husband nearly being assassinated and being shot through the ear. Don Lemon faces MAGA anger over mocking Melania. Well, that's the... why isn't it just about Don Lemon? Why does it have to be about MAGA making fun or calling him out for doing what he's doing? But the headlines very often involve MAGA because the news media has to show every couple of minutes that they hate everyone except Democrat left-wingers who are bringing in gang members from all over the world to kill your daughter. But never mind that. That they like, that they endorse. But the Newsweek headline, MAGA pushes claim of, quote, ABC whistleblower, end quote, after Harris-Trump debate, Newsweek magazine. That reminds me, actually, of another funny headline from Mediaite. It's got a picture of me on the top from the Newsmax television show last night. And it says, Newsmax host runs with widely debunked racist claims about Haitian immigrants and pets. But that's the headline. And that's what widely debunked. I remember when they had widely debunked the New York Post reporting on Hunter Biden's laptop. Then it all came true. And I remember the widely debunked stories about Russian collusion and President Trump colluding with Russia. And the list is long but not illustrious of widely debunked stories that, of course, turned out to be 100% true. And the corrupt, phony baloney sleeping with each other in news media, and the Democrats all lied about it the whole time. But never mind that. So MAGA pushes claim of ABC whistleblower after Harris-Trump debate. And, at Newsweek, I got an idea for Newsweek magazine. Why don't you report on whether there is an ABC News whistleblower? Because once again, you're going to be humiliated. Egg all over your face. Nobody uses that turn of phrase anymore, but I think it's kind of fun. Egg all over your face. Remember when I was a kid learning that phrase? That means you should be embarrassed because you've done something really stupid and you have egg all over your face. And these guys should have, crates full of eggs everywhere they go because their whole lives are about humiliating themselves. MAGA pushes claim of ABC whistleblower. Why don't you just talk about the fact that there are these reports? Jesus Mesa wrote the story for Newsweek magazine. After what some pundits and political experts describe as a rocky performance by Donald Trump, but not Kamala Harris or ABC News moderators. During the debate with Kamala Harris, some of his supporters are accusing ABC News of bias. No kidding. Well, you see, you can do that just by noticing how things went and the questions that were asked of Kamala Harris versus the attacks on President Trump that they kind of put in the form of questions. But they performed an act of journalistic gratification on Kamala Harris and the Democrat Party, a full head-to-toe tongue bath. And President Trump, they threw rocks at the whole time. And if you just watched it at Newsweek magazine and Jesus Mesa, you'd notice that yourself. Even suggesting that Harris was given the debate questions in advance. How dare anyone suggest that, given that in the 2016 presidential debate with President Trump and Hillary Diane Rodham Clinton, the CNN hosted debate. CNN employee Donna Brazil, the former DNC chair, provided all of the questions from CNN to Team Clinton and to Hillary Clinton. And that was just 2 election cycles ago. So it's not as though we've never heard of this. We don't have to go back to the Civil War, the last Civil War, as I like to call it. So Tuesday night's debate, moderated by ABC News' David Muir and Lindsay Davis, who no one had ever heard of, has been criticized by Trump and his allies, and it should be criticized by Newsweek magazine if you cared about journalistic integrity, who say the 2 moderators unfairly targeted the former president while favoring Harris. I think Jesus didn't watch the debate. Otherwise, he wouldn't write it that way. The controversy escalated online when a self-proclaimed whistleblower used the X, and they put formerly Twitter. They're gonna, for how many years are they going to say formerly Twitter? I was like, formerly the Brooklyn Dodgers, formerly the Washington Redskins, yeah, and it's formerly Twitter. We know on X account, and it's .net YouTube. A self-described MAGA supporter, is he really? To say an affidavit alleging that the debate was rigged will be released. And he wrote, I will be releasing an affidavit from ABC Whistleblower regarding the debate. I have just signed a non-disclosure agreement. Oh, you got to look out for that because President Trump was found guilty of 34 felonies in New York, 34 felony counts. He was found guilty for a non-disclosure agreement. That was because of a non-disclosure agreement. So you got to be careful of that because the Democrats put you in prison for 100 years over a non-disclosure agreement. Of course, they have people at ABC News, they have people sign non-disclosure agreements all the time. At CNN, they have people sign non-disclosure agreements all the time. But never mind that. So I will be releasing an affidavit from ABC Whistleblower regarding the debate. I've just signed a non-disclosure agreement with the attorney of the whistleblower, the account posted on X. Now, conservative accounts such as, and, honestly, they, which have combined, they list a number of conservative accounts on X, which is formerly known as Twitter, have combined following of over 1 million people quickly amplified the whistleblower story, spreading it across their platforms without evidence. They love without evidence. They said that Hunter Biden's laptop had all the earmarks of Russian disinformation without evidence. They said President Trump was colluding with Russia without evidence. But they did it every day for years. And that's okay without evidence because they should be called like the Without Evidence Network, the WEN, Without Evidence Network. So without evidence, they insisted that the Democratic nominee's campaign was handed sample questions, essentially the same as those used in the debate, along with promises that Trump would be fact-checked. Well, they've promised in advance. News organizations have promised in advance of Trump events over and over and over again that they would be fact-checking him in real time. And ABC News did try to fact-check him in real time. They got, I think, all of their fact checks wrong, but that doesn't matter because it's all about the propaganda war, right? So President Trump went on Truth Social, and he commented on this, and he said, people are saying that Comrade Kamala Harris had the questions from fake news ABC. I would say it is very likely the two so-called anchors were a disgrace to modern-day journalism. And I think they represent modern-day journalism pretty well, actually pretty typically, I think, modern-day journalism. But that's the sad state of affairs in modern-day journalism. David Muir, President Trump continued, David Muir should be ashamed of himself, as should Lindsay Davis, who I never heard of. I had never heard of her either. And I said that the day after the thing. But both were nasty and rude when they were making statements that they knew were false. As an example, the FBI said they didn't give all the information when coming up with crime stats, making me right. Now, and that's true. That's President Trump is right. And the FBI didn't collect crime data from hundreds of municipalities and cities across the country. And then they say, oh, here are crime stats. Hey, look, crime is down. And say, hey, what happened to the hundreds of police departments that didn't give you their data? And they're like, don't ask questions, because we'll raid your house in a pre-dud thing dressed like ninjas. And we'll have a battering ram. So amazing stuff. And President Trump said, despite having to debate three people, polls firmly state that I won and easily. I felt that also, he said, but no politician should ever do a debate with ABC News. I believe that's true. In fact, who was that? I had a great listener the other day and a friend who said the Republicans should go hold a press conference in front of ABC News in Washington, D.C. and say no Republican will appear on any ABC News show as long as those people work for ABC News. I think that's a good idea. No Republican should appear. I've been saying for years they should be boycotting like CNN when they give the questions to Hillary Clinton's campaign for the presidential debate between Trump and Hillary Clinton and stuff. So we got that going. And President Trump said they've proven not worthy, and hopefully an investigation will be done. It won't be, as to whether or not they gave the debate questions to Comrade Kamala, whose best friend is a top ABC executive. That's true. And that's, it's good to be a Democrat because they all went to school together. They're in the same sororities, different schools, different years, but same sororities. And, they all wear the same coded things. Hey, this is my sorority and all that stuff. So crazy stuff. But President Trump said there should be investigation into whether the questions were given. And we'll find out. I can't say one way or the other because it's the internet. Nobody knows. But we have this claim that a whistleblower will come forward. And I hope that if that's the case, that a whistleblower does come forward and that the truth will come out because corruption is bad. Remember when corruption was bad and not okay? The Democrats believe corruption is okay. If she did give the questions to Kamala, ABC's license should be terminated. I was talking to my best girl about this last night over a beer on a rooftop. And then President Trump says, remember, Donna Brazile works for ABC, and she gave the questions to Hillary Clinton. I had not put that part together, so thank you for that, President Trump. And all of that is true. All of that is true. And there's much more on this that I have to share with you as well. That football season is here, you may have noticed, and Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action while watching football. The app is really simple to use, easy to use. Pick two or more players across any sport, and then you pick more or less on their projections, and you could win up to 100 times your money. Put down $5, you can win $500. And all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Not only that, but Prize Picks is the only daily fantasy app with injury insurance. If one of your players goes down in the first half, Prize Picks does not count your game as a loss. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code PLANT. That's me, Plante, and you're going to get a $50 credit instantly when you play $5. That's the code PLANT with an E on the end. Why? I don't know. On Prize Picks to get a $50 credit instantly when you play $5. Listen, you don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details. Yeah. So this is great. I love the whistleblower element in all of this. It would be entirely unsurprising. It has happened before, just 2 cycles ago. And it's hilarious that Donna Brazile, who leaked when she was at CNN to the Clinton camp, is now at ABC. I hope, will get the answers to this. The news media is not investigating. They're attacking anybody that mentions it instead. All right, let's go to the telephones. Let's go to Frank, calling from the great state of Illinois. Frank, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
What's up, Chris? How's it going?
Pretty good. What do you say?
I'm just saying that I think Trump did have this under control, but he was unhinged, let's be honest. You think Harris really cares about crowd sizes? She doesn't care about that, but she knows he does. And she mentioned it just to unhinge him. That's all she did. And he fell for it. Why would he fall for something like that?
Yeah.
You know how he could stop? You know how he could have stopped them from, being biased or whatever you guys call it? Stop lying. If I would have been in his position and somebody was catching me in a lie, I would have been like, oh crap, let's change the rules here. Let's change the game plan. Stop lying. Then they couldn't do anything. They couldn't. No, they wouldn't be able to. He did this to himself.
Well, listen. I would say that that he fell into their trap of her baiting him and goading him, and he did fall into that trap. Now, at the same time, you can say, well, he's lying. Stop lying. Kamala Harris lied about 45 times during the course of the debate about a whole range of things. I've got a couple of them for you today, but it's only a 3-hour show, so I can't get to all of them. Politics is a nasty, awful business, but ABC News, that's supposed to be their job. It's an amazing country we've got here. The Democrats are making it more amazing, I think. So many different ways. There's I've got to get to the Springfield, Ohio, eat my cat story, and the Haitians, the racist Democrats are going around calling everybody racist because if you tell the truth about Haitians, Haitians can do no wrong when it comes to the Democrat. But never mind the voodoo and the rituals in Haiti. You don't want to look at that. I think the Clintons went and fixed Haiti a while back, didn't they? And now it's all better. Maybe that's the problem that the Democrats have with this. But never mind that for right now, because right now this whistleblower idea, that's a lot of fun. That's a good thing, and it has to do with the debate, of course, and whether ABC News rigged the debate, stacked the deck. And it's kind of funny. Michael Piercy just went, look, ABC News covered the debate the other night, right? They hosted the debate. Moderated is the word that they like to use. And then when it wrapped up, they went to their round table, and there's Donna Brazile right there on the ABC News round table. President Trump mentioned that Donna Brazile is now working for ABC News, and it was Donna Brazile that was working at CNN in 2020, the Donald Trump-Hillary Clinton debate. Donna Brazile provided the questions from inside of CNN as she was an employee there to the Clinton campaign. And so Hillary Clinton had all the questions ahead of time. It's good to be a Democrat. All right. Isn't that amazing? And now Donna Brazile's at ABC. ABC is hosting the debate. And there's a story out there. We will have to wait and see whether it comes to pass that an ABC News whistleblower from inside the company will come forward and say on the record that the ABC people gave the questions in advance to Kamala Harris. And look, it's not like she answered the questions anyway, for the most part. But remarkable stuff. And President Trump posted about it. It's crazy, man, crazy. Now, also, you should be aware that there is a long-time Bill and Hillary Clinton operative and pollster by the name of Mark Penn. Mark Penn. And Mark Penn has come out, and he's always been widely regarded in Washington, D.C. to be a very, very smart man who's great at slicing and dicing the numbers and the politics and, looking at the politics, and paid lots and lots of money by political operatives like Bill and Hillary Clinton and other Democrats over the years. And now it turns out Mark Penn says, here's quoting Mark Penn now, he thinks that ABC did a very, very corrupt job the other night during the debate. And he said it was rigging the outcome. Mark Penn, lifetime Democrat political operative, Washington swamp guy, said, I actually think that they should do a full internal investigation, hire an outside law firm. I don't know how much of this was planned in advance, Mark Penn said. And he said, I don't know what they told the Harris campaign. I think the day after, suspicion here is really quite high. And I think a review of all their internal texts and emails should really be done by an independent party to find out to what extent they were planning on, in effect, fact-checking just one candidate and, in effect, rigging the outcome of this debate. Mark Penn, lifelong Democrat political operative, Clintonista, said after the debate. He said, I think the situation demands nothing less than that. Isn't that wonderful? So Mark Penn then wrote up a piece for the Wall Street Journal. Now, he is, of course, persona non grata within Democrat circles in Washington, D.C. He's not invited to the parties anymore because he doesn't always, 100% of the time, sing from their corrupt sheet music. And if you don't sing 100% of the time from the sheet music, then they'll, kill your cat and eat it. We're still going to kill your cat and eat it because the Democrats, they lie about if their lips are moving. So Mark Penn wrote in the Wall Street Journal, when referees put their thumbs on the scale, the game changes. The results have been thrown out, he says. The results have to be thrown out, he said. We were robbed. We were robbed, he says, of our time, and our democracy is drained of its meaning. See, the Democrats are killing democracy, says big-time Democrat political operative Mark Penn. He says, a presidential debate shouldn't be a staged wrestling match. Hey, wrestling is real. He said it should feature two candidates on a level playing field. Well, you don't want that. The Democrats don't want a level playing field. So voters can make up their minds, free of interference. Anything less makes a mockery of our institutions and our democracy because, the way they picked Kamala Harris made a mockery of our democracy. The way Joe Biden was kicked to the curb made a mockery of our democracy. The fact that they held primary elections all across the country and then threw out the results made a mockery of our democracy. And then, naturally, using the Soviet playbook, they say the Republicans are a threat to our democracy because we're trying to save our constitutional republic. Mark Penn continues, ABC should have fact-checked both candidates or neither. Fact-checking only one was the worst possible decision. Even a Democrat can tell a whopper. Yeah, you think? You notice that, huh? Time and again, Mark Penn writes, we find that supposedly neutral Democratic institutions have been corrupted by bias. I keep talking about corruption and corrupting, and the most corrupt institution, the news media, it's the correct word, might even be polite. Debate moderators must check their biases and seek to be scrupulously fair. I think we used to know that, but somehow we forgot about that, just like how many genders there are. The Democrats have erased that. And they tear down our statues and our institutions and our portraits, and they're the Taliban. They really the American Taliban. Amazing stuff. Says, yes, seek to be scrupulous. They shouldn't do the job, he says. They should observe strict rules and come from a variety of networks, meaning the moderators of the debate. I honestly, I've got a lot to say about this, but I only have a 3-hour show. most important, he says, they shouldn't interfere, more election interference, but rather trust voters to make their own decisions. Now, that ruins the whole thing. ABC undermined the system for everyone. That's how he wraps it up. ABC undermined the system for everyone. And again, he was chief pollster and advisor to Bill Clinton and to Hillary Clinton from 1995 to 2008. That's 13 years. And honestly, he's now the chairman of the Harris poll. And that's, at least used to be a real poll. I think it still is. So good for him. Good for him for coming out and telling the truth. The Democrats don't like that. And again, he's PNG. That's another abbreviation we have. He's persona non grata in Democrat circles these days because he's come out and told the truth a handful of times. Now, as for the corrupt people at the Washington Post, they have another take on this altogether. The headline at the Washington Post is, Trump blames ABC's moderators for his debate dud. It's a debate dud, and Trump blames the moderators. Voters disagree. Now, the Washington Post is not looking into the reports of a whistleblower from ABC coming forward to say that the questions were given to the Harris campaign ahead of time. Just amazing stuff. Again, fake after fake after fake. The fake news media, they've got story, and what is this? This woman at the New Yorker, Susan Glasser, who should be fired and then gassed. Susan Glasser says, maybe the electric chair. I miss the electric chair, don't you? Old Sparky. Susan Glasser says, Trump made history last night for sure. Who will ever forget him ranting on stage about immigrants eating people's dogs or insisting that the vice president, quote, wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in jail. And she has that in quotation marks. My piece on Trump's too crazy moment. And she has a piece in the New Yorker where they do long-form journalism. But Susan Glasser is too intellectually lazy and journalistically lazy and fundamentally corrupt and dishonest. Too lazy to just, GTS. You just, you Google that stuff. And you take a look and you see, oh, wait a minute, Kamala really did say that. But the New Yorker has a fake reporter there, Susan Glasser, and then they have fake editors that are intellectually and journalistically lazy, and they don't bother to check because it's a fake news story too good to check, right? Now, the people at the Gateway Pundit did a story where they did actual journalism, and Kamala Harris's support for taxpayer-funded transgender surgery for illegal aliens is so crazy, her supporters and media allies don't believe it. But it's true. And Kristen Taylor wrote the story at the Gateway Pundit, and Kristen Taylor did actual research. She looked it up, and she found in the ACLU survey, remarkable story, that Kamala Harris in 2019 was asked, would you support taxpayer-funded surgery, transgender, and other medical treatments for illegal aliens in detention at taxpayer expense?
She made this open-ended pledge to end immigrant detention. She said she supported taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries for detained migrants. She also said she supported
taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries for detained migrants.
She actually
CNN
said
she supported that.
She wrote and answered in the affirmative when she was asked this.
She answered in the affirmative. That's the K File on CNN 3 nights ago, I think. And I played that for you a couple days ago. But Susan Glasser at The New Yorker doesn't listen to my show. And she is, as a result, even more ignorant than she might otherwise be. She'd still be incredibly ignorant, but never mind that. And then, so she tweeted this out on her Twitter account, her ex, and it's formerly known as the Brooklyn Dodgers. Amazing stuff. And immediately someone retweeted her and posted, Kamala Harris told the ACLU she supports this policy. Quote, I support policies ensuring that federal prisoners and detainees are able to obtain medically necessary care for gender transition, including surgical care, while incarcerated or detained. And the ACLU has posted that, a radical left-wing extremist group that supports terrorism and stuff. So amazing stuff. And in fact, we found out the Washington Free Beacon then reported, and this is actual reporting, that it is her chief of staff. She was doing the ACLU forum with a woman that was a staffer at the time. And the woman who is a staffer, interestingly, is Julie Chavez Rodriguez. I've actually met Julie Chavez Rodriguez, but she doesn't know it. And she is the granddaughter of Cesar Chavez, who boycotted grapes, is the grape boycotter, and therefore a hero of the Democrat Party, because they're insane. And it was in 2019, the American Civil Liberties Union questionnaire, where Harris expressed her explicit support for taxpayer-funded transgender surgeries. But at the New Yorker, their reporter, Susan Glasser, is so lazy that she wouldn't even just spend 1 minute. I wonder if she has access to the internet. Maybe high-speed internet hasn't made it to her neighborhood yet without government funding, taxpayer funding. Isn't that amazing? Yes, it is. Just extraordinary stuff. And the news media. And then the New Yorker headline, Donald Trump had a really, really bad debate. Yeah, the New Yorker had a really, really bad article. Amazing. And this also kind of funny. Body language expert went on with Dr. Phil. Remember Dr. Phil? Does anybody remember Dr. Phil? Body language experts, plural, tell Dr. Phil ABC News debate moderators were hostile to Trump. Quote, thumb on the scale. Hey, isn't that the same turn of phrase that Clinton pollster and advisor Mark Penn just used, the thumb on the scale? I'd say it's their elbow on the scale. That's your media, the most corrupt institution in America. Hey, as you gear up for back-to-school time and the fall season in general, your feet deserve the same level of support they had all throughout your summer adventures, climbing Everest and everything. Introducing G-Defy shoes. G-Defy shoes with VersaShock technology. Unlike ordinary brands of shoes, G-Defy shoes offer superior shock absorption and trampoline-like energy return underneath your feet and can help provide relief from foot discomfort, knee, ankle, even back discomfort. Whether you're a parent tackling the new school year, chasing after the kids, or just hustling through the daily grind every day, G-Defy shoes offer the comfort and versatility that your feet crave. Listen, my best girl and I, we each have a pair. They're wonderful. They really are. They're great. We walked around in the city in our G-Defy shoes, and every pair includes 2 free supportive orthotic pairs of orthotics, a special lateral stabilizer shown to help improve your stride or your run. And as a listener to my humble radio broadcast, you get to enjoy a special back-to-school offer. Visit gdefy.com and get $20 off your order of $100 or more with the code CHRIS. Just me, Chris. That's gdefy.com, gdefy.com. Don't forget to use the code CHRIS for $20 off. Step into the fall season with G-Defy shoes. Visit gdefy.com today. Yeah. Our news media. Why do you think I always say they're the most corrupt institution in America? And why do they keep proving it over and over and over again? And I have a correction to make, a very important correction to make. Because I've just been informed, and I haven't gone to lengths to check it out, but I was making reference to an article written in the Gateway Pundit, and it's an excellent article in the Gateway Pundit. Kamala Harris support taxpayer-funded transgender surgery for illegal aliens is so crazy. Her supporters and media, but he repeats himself, don't believe it. That's great. And I said, and the story is by Kristen Taylor, Kristin Taylor. And then I referred to Kristen Taylor as she. I'm informed that Kristen Taylor is a man. And then I went and looked it up, and sure enough, Kristen Taylor is a man. And so I apologize to Mr. Taylor because I think that I said she. I was, admiring the story and praising the story, but I did say she, and it turns out Kristen, named by his parents, with Kristen with two N's on the end. And so I wanted to correct that because we're not CNN, we're not ABC News. We don't go around saying things and find out that's wrong and then not correct it. We're truth tellers here, truth seekers. Yeah, so Kristen Taylor, Mr. Kristen Taylor, excellent story by Kristen Taylor in the Gateway Pundit. So I wanted to straighten that out. And really it lays out everything about, and in a really great way, a very intelligent and serious and journalistic way. Kamala Harris's, her flip-flops, her lies, and all kinds of great stuff in the story. We should share the story. We'll post the story. Now that I've gone through all this, we'll post the story.